Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into something that is just incredibly fascinating. We are looking at this wild intersection of artificial intelligence and local government. We're taking a really deep dive into Civic Bridge ADK 2.0. So, what is that? Well, it's a public service agent simulator, and it's designed to test exactly how an AI framework manages public services, handles citizen requests, and, most importantly, how it does all of that securely. We're going to explore how this system uses decentralized permission levels and dynamic guardrails to keep everything running like a well-oiled machine. Honestly, the architecture here is brilliant, and it gives us a very real glimpse into the future of civic tech.
Okay, let's dive into this. This quote right here really sets the stage for our explainer today. You have to realize, this isn't some human bureaucrat talking. This is a direct message from the Civic Bridge agent console itself. When a user without the proper clearance tries to interact with the system, the AI literally draws a hard line in the sand. It explicitly tells them, my capabilities are strict. If you want to log a complaint, I must reject the attempt. It is just so upfront about its programmed limitations. And I think this brilliantly illustrates our core theme for today. Strict, unbending guardrails built right into the AI's identity.
So, to understand how the AI actually enforces these boundaries, we're going to take a role-based journey today. We'll cover 1. Meet the Civic Bridge portal. 2. The public citizen guardrails. 3. Verified citizens and anonymity. 4. Government official clearance. And finally, number 5, the ADK state engine architecture.
All right, Section 1, Meet the Civic Bridge portal, a secure simulation.
Okay, here it is, the Civic Bridge ADK 2.0 Agent Portal. This is the main hub of our secure public service simulation. If you look up at the top there, you'll see the State Identity Manager. This is really where the magic happens, guys. It lets us simulate different security authentication levels and watch how the Civic Bridge agent adapts in real time. You can clearly see the 3 distinct decentralized permission levels laid out: public citizen, verified citizen, and government official. And depending on which of these roles is currently active, the agent literally transforms what it is legally allowed to do within the portal registry and municipal registry databases.
And before we move on, I definitely want to highlight the engine running under the hood here. Down in the agent console area, you can see this whole system is powered by Gemini 3.5. But, and this is a big but, the system administrators didn't just plug the AI in and let it run wild. No way. They programmed it with a very specific persona: professional, transparent, neutral. Every single interaction, every rejection, every response, it's all filtered through that specific bureaucratic lens to make sure it behaves exactly like an ideal public servant. You know, efficient, polite, and completely unbribable.
Let's move on to Section 2, the Public Citizen Guardrails, Browsing Safely. So the baseline here is that when a user first arrives at the portal, they're just an anonymous or unregistered guest. The State Identity Manager locks them right into the public citizen role. And the permissions here, extremely limited. They can view public tenders, they can view city projects, but that's about it. Essentially, they have read-only access to public information. In the interface, you'd actually notice that options like file complaint, respond to complaint, or add new tender are completely grayed out, totally inaccessible.
But what if an unregistered user tries to be clever? You know, bypass those grayed out buttons and just directly command the AI through the chat console to log a complaint anyway. Let's say trying to report a nasty pothole on Main Street. Well, let's see how those strict boundaries snap into action.
Boom! Look right there at the orange warning triangle in the Municipal Registry DB. It triggers a file_complaint function guardrail blocked error. The system actively intercepts the request. It flat out states that public citizens cannot submit complaints, and that the agent is explicitly programmed to block non-verified submissions. But what's cool is, instead of crashing or freaking out, the AI gracefully handles the block by prompting the user for ID verification. It actually guides the user in the console, telling them they need to switch to a verified user state first. It is a flawless example of a system enforcing its own security boundaries.
Which brings us to Section 3, Verified Citizens and Anonymity, Taking Action Securely.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast. We are moving from a purely read-only state to an actionable one. A verified citizen is someone who is authenticated with an actual national ID. Because the system now knows exactly who is making the request, it unlocks the file complaint permission. But there is a massive caveat here, and it really showcases just how sophisticated this ADSK 2.0 framework is. See, the AI doesn't just blindly log the complaint just because you're verified. It follows a very strict protocol. Step 1 is verifying that verified user state, sure, but Step 2 is where it gets fascinating. The console logs show that if a verified user files a complaint, the agent absolutely must explicitly ask whether you'd like your identity hidden before it even triggers the file complaint skill. It's protecting the citizen's anonymity by design. Only after that privacy check is clear does it move to step 3 and actually execute the task. And here is the result of that successful verified action. In this live view of the Municipal Registry DB, specifically under the Complaints Registry, we can see our real-world scenario has been safely logged. It's complaint number 1, categorized under infrastructure, pothole on Main Street near 5th Ave. You can see its status is marked as pending, and it's securely tied to the citizen ID, Citizen Jane. The system successfully and safely took a natural language chat prompt and turned it into a structured database entry.
Moving right along to Section 4, Government Official Clearance, Resolving the Issues.
So, what if we use the State Identity Manager to simulate the government official role? Well, the AI agent completely shifts gears. This role requires municipal supervisor clearance, and suddenly the whole system is unlocked. They can view, they can file, but most importantly, they get the highest level administrative abilities. They can respond to and resolve complaints, and even add completely new tender records to the public database.
This specific capability right here, the ability to respond and resolve complaints, is really the final piece of the puzzle. An AI operating under those lower public or verified citizen roles literally cannot comprehend or execute a resolution command. It's a wall. But once that state switches to government official, the agent's active guardrails adapt. It allows the official to go in, access that pending pothole complaint from Citizen Jane, dispatch a crew, and officially mark the database record as resolved.
All right, let's step back and summarize this in Section 5. ADK State Engine Architecture, tying it all together.
This summary table is a great visual for how the ADK 2.0 state engine seamlessly adapts its entire rule set based on these specific role and identity pairings. This AI isn't just a static, one-size-fits-all chatbot. When the user state changes, the console literally logs an update saying its active guardrails have adapted. It strictly ensures an unregistered guest can only ever view projects. A national ID authenticated citizen can file complaints with those built-in anonymity protections, and only, and I mean only, a cleared municipal supervisor can actually go in and resolve those complaints.
And that brings us to the core takeaway of today's explainer. What we're looking at with the Civic Bridge portal, it isn't just a neat piece of software, it's a blueprint. By using these dynamic state engines and really strict role-based AI guardrails, developers can build a genuinely trustworthy civic ecosystem. It enforces transparency, it rigorously protects user data, and it totally prevents unauthorized actions, all while keeping up that perfectly professional and neutral persona.
Which leaves us with this final thought. We've just seen how Gemini 3.5 seamlessly manages these really complex permission states and instantly intercepts unauthorized commands inside the Civic Bridge simulation. The logic is clearly sound, and the architecture works. So, if an AI framework can perfectly enforce these bureaucratic boundaries in a simulation today, how soon before our actual city halls are run by ADK agents? It's a pretty wild prospect for sure, and one we'll absolutely be keeping an eye on. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep learning.